Woman left her husband and left her children. Years later, she ended up regretting it. And Smith was a seemingly normal 25-year-old woman with a seemingly normal life. She was married to a 27-year-old man named Andrew, and together they had two adorable children, a 5-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son. And was a housewife who dedicated her time to looking after the children and ensuring the house was kept in order, while Andrew worked as a doctor at the local hospital. The man loved his job as he loved helping those in need. However, he often had to work long hours and sometimes arrived home late. For a while, everything seemed to be going well. And Andrew seemed to be in love, and the couple couldn't be happier with their little family. But as time went on, Andrew began to notice strange changes in Anne's behavior. She became much less talkative to him whenever she spoke. With him, she kept her answers short and to the point. She started using the phone much more often, instead of spending time playing with her children, and spent most of her day texting on her phone. Thinking it was because of how much time he was spending in the hospital and that she was feeling neglected, Andrew decided to try and surprise his wife with a romantic gesture. He made sure to book a 5-star hotel along with a reservation at one of the best restaurants. He arranged that the final part of his plan was to ask his parents to watch his children over the weekend so that they could spend all their time enjoying each other's company. Andrew managed to finish work early one day. On the way home, he picked up a bouquet of flowers and a bottle of champagne. He was excited to finally have some alone time and reconnect with his wife. But he could never imagine what awaited him in his home. When Andrew walked through the front door, he shouted to his family to let them know he was home. His 2 sons came running from the room eager to see their father, but the man was surprised by who was following them. Coming out of the room, behind his children, was a young woman who was definitely not his wife. Confused and a little worried about the stranger watching his children, Andrew asked the woman who she was and what she was doing there. The woman introduced herself as Natasha, a 22-year-old student. She explained that she had been hired as a nanny by Lucia to look after the children while she went out. Andrew was incredibly confused and had never said anything about hiring a nanny. What's more, Andrew had no idea where exactly his wife had gone because she hadn't said she needed to go anywhere she couldn't take the kids. Then he thanked Natasha for her work and told her that she could go home as he could look after his children now for the rest of the day. Andrew spent time playing with his children while trying to contact his wife, but no matter how many times he called or texted her, she never answered the phone. Eventually, late at night, when the children were in bed, and finally returned home. She was dressed in one of her best dresses and she had full makeup and jewelry on. Andrew immediately met her at the front door and demanded to know where she was and why she had left her children with a stranger. And turned to him and said that she had gone out with her new boyfriend and was leaving. She would leave him and their children to pursue a new life where she would be happy. Andrew was stunned. He didn't know what to say and simply watched as his wife left to the bedroom and began to pack her clothes and other items into her suitcase. Finally, Andrew was able to come back to his senses. He demanded that and explain exactly what she meant. She then told Andrew that she met a man online and that they had been texting and seeing each other for months. She finally decided that she wasn't happy with her life and that she wanted to start a new one with her new boyfriend. After telling her husband this, and then picked up her suitcase and without even looking at her children's room, she left the house. Andrew was devastated. He didn't understand what happened and why his wife left him. He thought they were happy and everything was going well. Then his whole life was torn apart. But the worst part is that he had no idea how he was going to explain the situation to his children. The next day, Andrew woke up his children, and gave them each their favorite breakfast, then explained, as best he could to a 5- and 3-year-old, that their mother wouldn't be coming home again. At first, the children didn't seem to understand very well, but as the days went by, there was no sign of their mother. The two small children started to get more upset and confused. Andrew tried his best to look after his children, but trying to balance work and being a single father was incredibly difficult. He decided he needed help. Andrew ended up calling Natasha again and asked if she would like a full-time job as a live-in nanny. The young woman accepted, and after hearing how the children's mother had left them, Natasha took care of them, trying to be a role model that they needed. Things started to look up for Andrew and his little family. The man began to become one of the best doctors in the area, and people specifically asked to see him. He did the job so well that he was able to open his own practice, which allowed him to hire other doctors and gave him more time to spend with his children. Her children also came to adore Natasha, who loved children very much. The four did everything together. As time passed, and due to the time the two had to spend together, Andrew and Natasha began dating. Things were great, and Andrew felt like he was finally happy again. A few years later, the little family was getting ready to celebrate Christmas together. With the excitement of the holiday, Andrew and Natasha also received the incredible news that she was pregnant. The couple couldn't be happier. He's always wanted another child, ever since they got married. Christmas Eve finally arrived, and the family was getting ready, hanging up stockings and having a great time at Christmas. Suddenly, there was a knock on the front door. Thinking it was some preacher, he opened the front door with a big smile on his face. However, his smile fell when he saw who was on the other side of the door, right in front of him. It was Anne. With her suitcase in hand, the woman looked horrible, and it was clear that the years had not been kind to her. She immediately tried to enter the house. However, Andrew stopped her and asked her what she was doing back. Lucia explained that after that night when she had left her family for the first time, she felt freer. Her new boyfriend and she started their life together, traveling whenever they wanted. However, things started to go downhill quickly after the first few weeks. Money soon began to run out, and Lucia was forced to get a job as a cashier in a supermarket. While working, her boyfriend started seeing someone else. After and found out that he cheated on her, she left her boyfriend, but was stuck in a city she didn't know, with no money to return home. After a few years working at the grocery store, she managed to save enough money to return to her family. She told Andrew that she regretted leaving him and their children, and that she had heard how well he was doing in his business and that she wanted to get back with him. As he leaned in to kiss him, Andrew gently placed his hand on his shoulder and pushed back. He told his wife that although he was sorry things hadn't worked out for her, he wouldn't take her back. He went through a lot of heartbreak after she left and had to figure out how to be a single father to 2 children. He explained that he could no longer take her back as he didn't trust her, and more than that, he had found someone else he loved with all his heart. She was there for him and the kids when things started to fall apart, and he just couldn't imagine his life without her now. And was distraught. She thought that Andrew would wait for her if she decided to return to him, but it turned out that she was wrong. After saying goodbye, Andrew closed the door and happily returned to his family, feeling incredibly blessed with how things worked out in the end.